Welcome to Issues and Society podcast, where we discuss any and everything happening in the society. Today, I have with me a very great guest. I like to call him great because he has lots of achievements in his name. He's a real estate mogul. He's a CEO of lots of companies. We have Dr. Dan Apaida in the building. We're very happy to have you, sir. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, sir. So today we want to talk about housing Palava, especially in Abuja. We've had lots of people talk about the difficulties in renting an apartment, the issues, the difficulties, the issues they face with agents and all that. So today we say let us trash this issue so that people can be well educated as to what they should expect and what they should fight or kick against. So first off, we are going to talk about the cost of renting houses in Abuja compared to other states in Nigeria. The cost of living, the cost of renting house in Abuja is quite high. Is there a reason for that?
Okay, so Abuja is a cosmopolitan city, right? So you can compare it to other countries, of the world, like New York, like other capital cities anywhere of the world. And then you find out that in those places also, rental is quite expensive. So what people do is, stay in some of those suburbs, but the advantage there is that, commuting is quite easy. So maybe they have train stations. Some people drive 2, 3, 4 hours, from outskirts of town to work inside the town, So, it's usual. Abuja is no exception, really. It's just usual, common with developed cities around the world.
Okay, that's a very good one. Now let's go to the fees that are attached to renting houses. We hear about agency fee, we hear about inspection fee, we hear about non-refundable caution fee, and I'm asking, are these fees legal? Are they necessary? What is agency fee, and is there a flat rate for it, or can anybody just say, I'm taking any percent that I feel like I can take?
Okay. Fortunately for us, I started my career as a realtor.
Okay.
Meaning we started out, now we're into property development proper, but we started out with renting, helping clients to rent apartments, help them find 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms. So we literally grew through the ranks. So I understand very clearly what you're talking about.
Great.
Right? So, but I'll beg to differ in a way. Yes, because since we're narrowing it down to Abuja, then maybe you need to see what is happening in Lagos. Lagos, sometimes those guys do as much as 20%.
Lagos?
Yes.
I thought Lagos, I stand to be corrected, but the stories I hear in Lagos, tenants that look for houses, I thought Lagos was a flat rate of 5%. That's what I've been hearing. Even from family and friends that go out to rent house, the agency fee is a flat rate of 5%, and I think you just have to register when you come to the agency. But in Abuja, you hear 20%. And I'm like, you're renting a house of 300K and you're paying.
Okay, so I don't know if there's 20%, but I know of 10%, I know of 15%.
There is 20%. That is what is more rampant. That is one of the reasons why we're having this conversation. Yeah. Because it's becoming something else. Why am I renting a house of 500,000 and then need to pay 20% agency fee?
No, that's so it's not, the sector is not really regulated. But if it were, I think the standard operating procedure is 10%, which is 5% for legal and then 5% for agency. Because of course you would have a lawyer, prepare your tenancy agreement, which protects both the tenants and the property owner. So that's the lawyer part with 5% ordinarily. That is like the best practice. And then the agent, your agent, or the agent of the house that help you get the property. So why sometimes people do 15% is because they make the agency 10% and make the legal 5%. So the lawyer part with is 5%, and then you have multiple agents in certain situations. You have the landlord's agent on the property, managing the property, and then you have the client's agent, the tenant's agent. So then the both parties come together. Sometimes it's even a chain, right? A chain of about 5-10 people, because it's a networking kind of business. So the two parties come together and then they share the 10%. So that's why oftentimes you get 15%, but the standard operating procedure is 10%, 5% legal, 5% agency.
So are you saying if an agent decides to charge 20%, we can sue the person?
Of course you can. So it is relative to your agent or the property, because it's not regulated, so to speak. I mean, you can't, anybody can come, just like a landlord can come and say, look, my 2-bedroom apartment is worth 100 million. And then you look at him and say, okay, so it's either you like it and you want to pay or you don't. Do you understand? So if the challenge with that is, okay, the property is going to stay in the market for years. Nobody will come and rent it, but he's at liberty to put whatever value on this property.
So my question is, with a sector as big as this, don't you think, with your expertise and your years of experience, that there should be regulations in this sector?
Yes, as a matter of fact, actually, I'm vice president to a certain organization, that is looking at some of this, processes of regulating some of this agents practices. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. So we're going to have a more united front.
Yes, I think it will help.
Yes, so all those are in process.
Is it also possible to regulate the prices of, like, the rental prices of house? Like something, for example, you say, okay, self-cons in social area should be 500 flats.
Absolutely.
Because you see some people, they give you a below or a substandard self-con and they're telling you 700,000. And I'm like, excuse you.
In more developed climes, you see, this sector is highly regulated.
Yes.
In the UK, for instance, you can't build a property and put whatever price you like. There's a cap.
As it should.
Whether for rental or for sales, there's a cap to it. But here, you can put whatever price you want.
We still have a long way to
for
go
now,
in this country.
it is what it is.
Please use your good office as vice president to help us fight this thing. So that when they want to talk about this, we'll say, okay, we once had a guest on the show that helped us to do this.
We'll get there. We're a growing company, like growing country, literally. So there are a lot of things that are gradually unfolding, especially with democracy and the right government in place. We are gradually getting there, and we will surely get there.
So you mentioned something about legal fees. So I want to ask, how can tenants protect themselves legally when renting an apartment? What should people know? If I'm a tenant, I want to rent, what are the basic things I should know as to what are my rights, so that a landlord or an agent cannot just come and ride on me over certain things? Are there certain things we should know?
Yeah, of course. So when you look at that tenancy agreement, it has the landlord's covenants and responsibility, and it has the tenant's covenants and responsibility. But oftentimes you see that the responsibility of the tenant is more and that of the landlord is little. It's understandable, because after the landlord gives you his property, gives you the key to his house, he literally doesn't have much responsibility anymore, right? Other than to ensure that the place is habitable and tenantable at all times. And then there's certain kind of damages that will happen to a house that the responsibility is on the landlord. Let's talk about structural damages, the roof, and things like that, or whether it's habitable or tenantable or not. But once a tenant comes in, bulk of the responsibility now switch over to the person using the place, because oftentimes you are mandated to make sure the place is in a tenantable condition, the way you rented it. Of course, you make provision for wear and tear as well. You can't be using a facility often and it won't gradually wear off, right? But you should ensure that it is not, you don't damage it. If you damage it, that's why you talked about caution fee earlier. Yes. That is the essence of caution fee.
This caution fee, is it not supposed to be refundable? Is it not supposed to be when I'm leaving your house, you check your house and nothing is spoiled, you give me my money back?
Absolutely.
But I don't heard of any tenant that got back their caution fee. We have a caution fee of 100,000, 150,000. Is there like a fixed price on that one? So just like SNC. So anybody can decide.
There's caution fee of 1 million. There's caution fee of 500,000, depending on the size of house you're taking, right? And the location and things like that, and the facilities.
For 400,000, I'm paying caution fee of 150,000. It's ridiculous now.
No, that's outrageous.
And they now put non-refundable. I mean, it's supposed to be refundable.
No. So I don't know. So that is the malpractice of some of these, agents, right? Because caution fee anywhere in the world, it should be refundable. So the fact they should put it there as refundable caution deposit, right? And the essence of that is very simple. Tenants are different. People are different.
Yes.
You see some tenants come into a property, they are thinking about to improve the property. Yes. They're like, I'm the one living here. I have to have a clean and safe living environment.
Habitable for me.
Yes, but you see some other kind of tenants, they come in, they're thinking about to destroy the place. Literally. We've had situations in time past where even your caution deposit cannot fix the damage you've done.
Wow.
Do you understand? So at the end of the day, the landlord suffers because the tenant goes away. Fine, you hold on to the caution deposit, maybe 200,000, maybe 300,000. At the end of the day, the landlord is fixing the house back with about ₦1 million. So he's losing.
Okay.
Right? So those are just some of the challenges. So at the end of the day, it all boils down to the kind of tenants that is coming in. Meanwhile, some other tenants will come, they will improve the property. Right? So it's just so landlords need to protect themselves as well as tenants. So but basically both of them have rights. Yes.
What can we do about this refundable and non-refundable?
If anyone tell you should bring caution fee and it's not refundable, don't deal.
Okay.
Don't deal. You can report the person to maybe the landlord or report the person to whoever is around if you really, really like the property. Otherwise, just go get another property. Right. But caution deposits are absolutely should be refundable once the place is in order.
There's another scam fee. I like to call this scam fee. Inspection fee. Inspection fee. You tell somebody what you want. I want a 2-bedroom flat or a 1-bedroom flat. I want it like this. I want it spacious. I want it in a conducive area, water, light, and all that. And they say, okay, well, madam, we don't hear you. No, wahala, we have the best. They hype up the place. I say, okay, well, 5,000 naira inspection fee. And they purposely take you to, oh God, the exact opposite of what you told them. And that money has gone like that.
Yeah.
When they take it to another property again, you pay, is that inspection fee legal, sir?
Yeah, so I understand that completely because, I mean, we grew through there, right? Okay. And that is why you see some of these agents, they are there for 20 years, 30 years, and they're still where they are, no growth. Now, I can tell you, and this is an advice to as many of them that are listening, right? I can tell you that we started off as agents like that, but over the years we grew because we're known for things that we're known for not wasting people's time, literally. So even though we never engaged in caution special fees, then, but some of these guys that collect those caution inspection fees, you may not really blame them. You know why?
Why?
Because so many of them pay transport to go search out those properties.
Okay.
Right? They go around, check, maybe you give them a brief. Oh, I need this and this. Okay. They start making calls. They start checking out properties. They start doing all of that. The only thing I have problem with is what you said. Well, when you give them that inspection fee, they now go and show you the direct opposite of what you want.
Yes.
Ordinarily, if they take you to 3 or 4 options, and the 3 or 4 options meet your requirements, so it's left for you to now choose. They've not wasted your time.
Yeah.
Right? But many of them, they just literally waste your time. Take you to something as annoying as any other thing. And then you get angry and then they've gone with your money anyways. So but the challenge there is that tomorrow you won't engage them because you X them in your phone and say, no, this person is a time waster. But once they are professional about their job, once they are very professional, once they ensure that they do their due diligence, make sure that what you want is what they present to you, it's a matter of time you see them, growing very well in the industry.
Okay, thank you very much. So these agents now, upcoming as agents, before anyone that wants this local agents, so to say, do they have an association? Are they supposed to have an association? Because anybody, I can just this estates, we have some properties that are still in construction, and just come out and say, okay, tell somebody that there are new buildings that they're building around here. And I thought agents, is it supposed to be so? To avoid fraud and scam cases.
Yes, so I mean, we're getting there. That leads to the regulations, registrations, associations, and all of that. But as of today, there's none that I know of.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So, sir, I want to ask, what are the safety and security considerations that tenants should look out for before renting spaces?
Okay, very, very importantly, especially in this climate where we are promoting healthy living.
Yes.
Abuja has that going on for us here, where you have green areas, you have greeneries, gardens, and so on and so forth. Those things help you, to have this healthy environment, basically. But more importantly, are some of the water mold problem. You see some houses, when you go into them, you see the walls are peeling off. There are some houses that literally water comes out from the ground.
Wow.
That's very, very hazardous to live in.
Yes, yes.
So we'll try and avoid those properties that you see that has those water mold problem at the base of the walls.
Okay.
Try and avoid them. Even though there are remedies to those problems now, but part of it, you might be also willing to be screening and painting your room on every other month.
That's extra expensive and inconvenient.
Yeah, so try and avoid such place, and then also ensure that you have good ventilation.
Yes.
At least a minimum of 2 window areas for a room, and then proper sun ray lights. So all of those things are very important, and of course, make sure there's no structural defects in the house. How do you know some structural defects? Sometimes you see cracks on the walls, roof falling apart, and things like that. So basically, and of course, make sure it's a clean environment. It's not where you have, it's not a refuse dump kind of location.
People tend to think that living in an estate is more safe and secure than living in an open space. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I share that sentiment as well. Because an estate setting is like a community and a closed community. Sometimes they have one access gate and one exit gate, so it's easy to control. It's a controlled environment. Some of these estates go as far as providing, uniformed men, police, some armies, to be on guard. So it's safer than when you have just your security man at the gate in your private compound. Sometimes those security people are even the problems, can even be the problem. Yes. So I mean, for me, I think estates are safer.
Okay. We've talked about renting. Now you're more into real estate properties and all that. Yeah. Let's talk about owning properties in Abuja, investing in properties in Abuja. We have young people that want to know how lucrative it is to invest in properties, especially in Abuja. What do you have for them? What do you have to say to them? What are the advices? What are the steps? What should they look out for? Is it a good investment on the long run, long-term, short-term? There was this argument where somebody was saying building a house for rent is not a wise investment. What do you have to say about that?
Okay, so I think I had that, saw that video myself. So he's right and not right, yeah? So it's like a 50-50 thing. The reason why he's saying that is, it's not like it's not a good investment. I think in the context he was trying to say is, there are better investments with that money. You can't go wrong with properties, believe me. Except for these days that there's a lot of demolishments of houses, especially in Lagos, right? But those are the things you need to watch out for first. Ensure that you have proper documentations, verify your documents properly, get your lawyer to do their due diligence and all of that. Do for yourself as well, before you, buy into a property. And then once you do that, you're rest assured that you're good to go. So for renting a property, buying a property or building a property and putting it on rent is still a good investment. It's just that it gives you, it's a longer time of recouping that investment. And that's what property is about. Property is not a quick fix kind of thing. You should be ready to put in a year, 2, 10, 20, as the case may be. The longer you leave properties, the more value, that comes on them. We had a situation where people bought property many years ago, 20 years ago, they bought it for like maybe 5,000 naira. Today, the properties is what, maybe over 50 million naira. We see things like that a lot, So it's a long-term, almost kind of investment. So, but when you have a property and then you put it for rent, you also still have the asset. The asset is still there. You can easily walk up to any bank and they'll loan you money based on the asset and they won't take it from you. Do you understand? So in either ways, it's a fantastic investment. So for those looking to invest in Abuja or in properties, here at Upland, we're also an investment company, property investment company. There are so many beautiful opportunities where you could, engage in that, literally. So there's what they call land banking, which is where you buy very affordable lands. Where buy lands at very affordable rates, maybe hundreds of thousands or a million or something. And then you are willing to leave it for a number of years for it to appreciate. There's even been some ideologies that look, it's far better than of course, it's better than putting your money in fixed deposit, right? So if you're trying to save for your children's school fees in future, you can do it with land banking. I think it's safer. You are more sure of your returns over the years, than what any of these banks will give to you as of today, right? So it's a fantastic opportunity to invest in lands and in properties. If you're fortunate, some areas within few years, they go very exponentially high, right? Places like Wuye, places like Gusape, we saw that happen. Places like Jahi, places like Katampe Extension, all of those people are poor resettlement at some point.
Yes.
You know, just shut up. So everybody that had properties there, I mean, they became
millionaires overnight.
You know? So I mean, is that it gets that good, you know, sometimes. But sometimes if you fall into the wrong, there's also some areas that have been forecasted to come out well that hasn't, right? But just work with the property consultants. I mean, if you want to do that, and then I'm sure you'll be properly guided.
Oh, okay. So there's a question someone asked. What's the difference between leasing a property and renting a property? Is there a difference?
Yes, there is. So renting usually tends towards an annual, engagements.
Okay.
You know, maybe you want to rent a property for 1 year. So the landlord tells you my property is 2 million naira, and then you pay 2 million naira. You know you have, so your contract says you are having for 1 year, from January to maybe December, for instance. That's what the contract says. But when you're doing a lease, usually leases are more long-term. So they are long-term lease, they are short-term lease, right? So, I mean, short-term lease could be maybe 5 years, or 10 years, and then long-term 50 years, 30 years, and so on and so forth. So that's just the difference. So
the difference is that the lease is a cumulative of years.
Yes, number of years put together. So they can ask you to pay for 5 years up front because you are going for a 20-year lease or a 10-year lease or something. Different from the annual rent, you know.
Someone had a situation, it's not in Abuja, so it's just a question. The person had a situation where she rented a place. She moved in and paid in, I think, May. And by January, the landlord was coming to ask for rent again. He says that everybody must pay their rent by January. And she's like, I moved in May. Why am I paying my rent in January?
Okay, so I mean, people are who they are, you know. So I mean, she can't be. So if there's a tenancy agreement that states that rents are renewed in January of every year, I mean, that's a different ball game. She has no claims. She has nothing to do because she already signed the contract, right? But ideally, if she decides not to pay in January, and the landlord can't do anything about it, literally.
Okay, sir. So we're almost coming to the end of this. Can you please tell tenants the pertinent questions to ask when renting a place? What are the questions you should ask your agents, your landlord, to be able to make sure that you have good living condition? You don't encounter, no, I didn't say this, or I didn't promise this, or this is not what we agreed on, and all that. So just what are the questions, what are things that we should ask when we want to rent a space? Okay.
I mean, a lot of questions. You should. Some landlords as well also give you their own guidelines before renting their place. But for a tenant's perspective, it's important you have an agreement. Some landlords will not give you an agreement, they'll only probably give you a receipt. Some will not even give you a receipt.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So they'll tell you have your receipt of payment, you should keep it. You know, because of the nature of the people you are dealing with.
Yeah.
You know, but ordinarily you should have an agreement. So because that agreement protects both parties.
Yeah.
It doesn't protect just you, the tenant, it also protect the landlord, right? But there's a contract, there's something binding. And that agreement, whatever clauses you want to be imputed there, you can put it there. Whatever things you don't want, you know, you can state it there, tell the lawyer to state it there that, you know, this contract is, do's and don'ts, and, you know, basically a document guiding both parties, you know, engagement together, you know. So for the questions, basically after inspecting the house, which is very important. So it's important to go and inspect the place during the daytime. That's one. It's also important to inspect the place when the place is empty. You know, I've had situations in time past, a client came, inspected the property, you know, and then it was still fully, you know, set up. The sitting tenant had not moved out. You know, and then saw the place with the furnitures and everything, liked it, paid instantly. And then when the tenant moved out, the place became so ugly in his eyes.
Wow.
And then next he said he wasn't interested again. You know, that led to a lot of, you know, issues, you know, of refunds and all of that, right? So it's better you inspect the place when it's empty. It's better you inspect the place during the daytime. And then, thank God we don't have such challenges here. But in Lagos, I mean, you find situations where if you go inspect a property during dry season, in rainy season, you see something else.
Are you sure we don't have that issue in Abuja?
Well, not really.
Because
at least compared to Lagos.
I I think it was on TikTok. I saw a video where they said like Abuja has 68%
Flood.
high rate of flood than the rest. I'm like, are you serious?
I don't know about that. So the areas that are flooded in Abuja are not much really.
Oh.
Compared to Lagos, you literally have to carry your children on your head.
Oh Jesus!
To
This is a shame to Lagos.
In some parts of Lagos, of course.
Yeah.
So we don't have that problem. And of course, if such a person went during rainy season to inspect the house, you definitely won't take it.
Exactly.
But he probably went during dry season. They didn't know everything looked fresh and nice.
Oh God!
The rainy season came.
It became what I ordered. What I got.
So those are some of the things you need to just watch out for.
Okay. You mentioned something about refund. So a situation whereby a tenant pays for a house and the tenant has not moved in, maybe in the process of moving in, tenant sees something like they don't like and says, I don't want again. That refund, is it supposed to cause issues? Is it not something the landlord will just transfer your account number, let me transfer?
Okay, so it's not that easy oftentimes. It's not that simple.
Is it as a result of not being trustworthy, or is it that why is it not?
So I won't say it's not being trustworthy. Now I'm speaking from both perspectives, right? Because I've been in both situations where I'm the tenant,
okay,
and we have such issues, and where I'm doing from maybe facility manager angle of the landlord, and also. So I try to balance things up, So it's not necessarily all the time. Now sometimes you see a property, you like it,
okay,
and then they give you the option to pay for it. Sometimes you're given an offer letter. Tell you, look, if you like this property, the value is 3 million, that's the account details, go and pay.
okay.
And then you go to the bank and pay. What that means automatically is that you like the place, right? Mm-hmm. So if you come tomorrow and say, something came up,
you don't like it again.
I don't like it again, or I was posted out of state to another state or something.
Yes, yeah.
That happens a lot of time. And then I want a refund. Of course, you've not lived in the place. So ideally, you should get a refund. But sometimes it's refund less, maybe your agent fee, maybe the legal fee. Sometimes.
Okay.
Because sometimes the lawyer has already prepared your draft, your agreement, and it has been paid. So the tenant has already, the agent has already done his work by showing the place, you like it. You understand he's gone. So oftentimes you just get back your rent. And then sometimes the landlord too has a pressing need. You've credited, he has used the money. Do you understand?
You have to wait for someone else to.
Very good. So the other option they'll probably give to you will be, okay, please be patient. We'll keep marketing this place. Once someone else comes and pay for it, automatically you get your refund. And then if you're fortunate, in some instances, the landlord is buoyant enough, he refunds you instantly your money, and then everybody goes to rest. But often sometimes, so these are just some of the challenges.
Okay. So as a tenant, if I want to rent a house, do I request for the lawyer to be there?
Well, not necessarily. Okay. No, because it's not every house that even has a lawyer. Because lawyers have their own legal fee. You pay them as well. But if you have your own lawyer, it's good. You can go with your lawyer, right? But otherwise, what we should be more concerned about is the tenancy agreement, which can be drafted by the lawyer or by anybody, literally. But once the terms and conditions are there and they're okay with you, then it becomes a binding document between both parties.
Wow, it has been such an educative session. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You're wearing upland. You not bring cap for me. I will pardon this time. So tell us about upland. Tell people about upland. What is upland realtor? How do you operate? What are the benefits of doing business with you?
Okay. We're Upland Realtors Limited. We're a property development company with headquarters here in Abuja. We have developments in Nasarawa and Lagos. We are also a facility management company. So we started out as a facility management and a realtor, and then graduated into a property development company because of the opportunities of investments that we saw in the sector. And as it is, we have a couple of sites here. We are huge on financial investments in lands and properties. We're your best plug, literally. Wow. If you have some investment capital, we'll give you the best consultant advice, property consultancy for free, literally. Wow. Yes, we'll do that for you for free to help you, guide you to make sure you make no mistakes and you get the best return on your investment. So we have shopping malls we've built and then we're still building. We have residential estates we built and we're still building. It feels more of, or you buy land, for us, it's more of an investment you're doing rather than, owning a property.
Okay.
Because most of our locations are prime, top notch, so that they guarantee your returns in the shortest, possible period of time. Some of our sites we've not even moved in, and yet the values have doubled compared to what people bought over time.
I should buy a house.
So it's a fantastic opportunity working and investing in upland, literally.
Oh, that's nice. I forgot a question. I saw somewhere that this CFO thing, I buy a land and they give me the CFO and all that. It's not permanent. It's for a number of years.
Okay, so there's the Land Use Act by the federal government of Nigeria, which talks about all land belonging to the government.
Okay.
Right? So what everybody's enjoying is a 99-year lease of that, for whatever property you have, whatever land you have, as long as it's in Nigeria.
It's your grandfather that gave you as inheritance.
It belongs to the government, right? So, and they've given out, so if you have your CFO, it's for 99 years. Right? So
what happens after 99 years?
We're yet to find out. The country is how old? 60.
Oh, that's true. The country is 60. Oh, Jesus.
But we were sure that, of course, there will be provisions for renewal. Maybe pay a token, and then you get to renew your maybe another 99-year lease, and so on and so forth.
Is it possible for somebody to get a fake CFO? What should they look out for in the documents to make sure that it is original?
Absolutely. There are so many fake landed documents everywhere. That is why some documents have more weight than others.
Okay.
Right? If you're in Abuja, for instance, if you're dealing with the area councils, it's not as weighty as when you're dealing with FCDA, AGs, and the FCTA documents. And the essence is that they have a more structured, system, where they can verify what document is authentic. If you go to AGs, for instance, with a clone document, they will catch you and put you behind bars, right? Because they have a system to verify which document is original, which one is forged. But not every, other agency has that. Talk about the local governments, So a lot of forged documents are here and there. One has to be very careful. That's why before you buy any land, you verify, do your due diligence properly.
Thank you very much. Wow. I've learned a lot. I don't have money yet for land though, but we have been gingered. I think I'm going to get there.
Okay, so there's something we do which is like a structured payment for some of our properties, right?
Okay.
So the properties range between 2 million, 3 million, 4 million. And then you could structure payments. You could do monthly plans for you. You could do 6-month plan. You could do a 1-year plan.
Wow.
So yes, based on what your income is, we could structure a payment plan for you. So the whole idea is let everyone own lands as easy and as possible.
So you're trying to tell me that you have a property of 2-3 million, as low as that?
Yes, we do.
Wow.
So it's called the Upland Bay Estate. It's in Karishi, and it's a fantastic location. So it's even a third road from the city center to the location. So it's fantastic. It's slightly on the hill. It's a place you would love. Nobody has been there and don't love.
We'll not talk on camera about that. Thank you very much. I've learned a lot. I have really learned a lot. And I'm sure the viewers would know what to look out for, will know their rights and what the questions to ask. Don't forget to follow Upland Realtors on Instagram. Yes. Follow Mr. Dan Apaida on Instagram. I remain your humble host, Coco. Please do want to follow us on our social media. On Instagram at 71 Media Limited. On Facebook at 71 Media Limited. On YouTube at Issues and Society Podcast. On TikTok at Issues and Society Podcast. On X at 71 Media Limited. See you same time next week. Bye.